Hey guys, it's Britt. Tonight we're here to talk about the Dougherty Dozen. I had some updated thoughts on some things that Alicia posted, so if you're interested in hearing my thoughts, please keep watching. All right, you guys, so I'm not going to give an intro to who the Dougherty family is because most people are well aware of who Alicia is and the type of problematic content that she produces. But if you don't know, I will link a couple of other videos down below, but they're basically just like any other family channel. Some of the problems with Alicia are that she overshares medical information in order to get attention, praise, and or sympathy on social media. She also just completely blows money like it's her full-time job. And since her money is being made off the backs of her children, which she overshares their locations, overshares all of their information, builds really weird parasocial relationships with weirdos online. The fact that she, creates all of this waste with single-use plastics and feeds her kids like they live in a candy store. People are allowed to have opinions on this content, and I am one of those people. Now, I want to talk about quality time with kids. And obviously, before y'all go off in the comments, no, I'm not a parent. I'm just someone who has an opinion and a fair amount of logic. And I want to speak about this from the stance of someone that was a kid. Hello, she's been doing these vlogs where she features one child in each vlog. And in this one that she posted a couple of days ago, this child is involved in cross country at his school, and I'm trying to kind of keep it a little surface level here. Monday mini vlog.
On Mondays, I take one of my 12 children and we go out and spend some one-on-one time together. He is on the cross at school this year and he needed some new shoes for his upcoming race on Wednesday, so we headed to so he could try them out. He also needed some new training shoes and some decent shorts and running gear and a good vest.
So he's got the practice shoes, race shoes, shirts, tanks, running shorts, jacket, long sleeve shirt. I thought about a pair of pants. Oh, pair of pants. And the running vest. And he grabbed a water bottle. All right, we're good. Let's go.
After that, we headed to Yoda for some dessert. You grab your bowl, pick your flavor of frozen yogurt. Rick picked pumpkin and I picked vanilla chocolate swirl. Then you go over to the toppings and pick any and all toppings that you want on your frozen yogurt.
So her idea of spending quality time with this child and dedicating a quote day to him was buying him clothing and taking him for ice cream. Now, typically, the ice cream thing, that's awesome, really cool. But I think that Alicia, based off of my opinion off of her content, is that she's someone who equates quality time to dollar signs and how much money can I spend on this child during this quote quality time while I vlog everything to make TikToks, make sure that I can also use that content in a YouTube video. So I'm going to take longer clips to include in the vlog. We know the gig, it's a tax write-off. And on top of it, she's also showing very specific stores. It's not like she was at a mall where there was a Foot Locker. This is a very specific store that is located in her area. So of course she's just dropping more hints as to the places that they shop at locally and where she lives, which goes into the privacy issue of things. I want to speak on this from a child who had two parents where one did the materialistic type of love thing and the other did the not so materialistic, gave me all that I needed, but was not constantly buying me junk. And I want to talk about it from the seat now that I'm an adult, looking back on my childhood. My most memorable days were not spent buying clothes, buying stuff, at Walmart or whatever, just nonsense that I didn't need, but a parent would buy it for me because I wanted it, and that's how they chose to show some of their affection, was through just buying whatever I wanted. Looking back on it, my most memorable days were spent at home. I'll tell you guys actually a really specific memory that I always go back to. I used to sit on my living room floor with my dad, and we would listen to his old albums. And my dad has an amazing album collection. He's always been really, super into music. And I think anyone who's my age with parents, like, I think, music was a huge part of our parents' lives, because back then, they didn't have laptops and YouTube and all this different kind of stuff. So he's always had a really good music collection. And we used to sit on the living room floor, and he would teach me about music. And he would teach me about the Beatles or Led Zeppelin or Black Sabbath or The Doors, the Grateful Dead, like all of these really iconic bands and artists. And he would talk to me about the album art or one of the songs or some of the lyrics or one of the band members and some crazy story that he knew of. And it would just be uninterrupted time, where it wasn't like a TV or a movie that was interrupting that time. It was just us connecting over a mutual love and respect of music. And those are the days that I look back on and remember as an adult. And I realize that some people are like, oh, well, she buys her kids stuff, she's an amazing mom. Guys, like, that argument can only go so far at this point. Buying things for your kids is one of the bare bones necessities for being a parent. Feeding your kids is one of the bare bones necessities for being a parent. Buying in excess and allowing them to eat whatever they want, whenever they want, are not necessities. And that's something that a lot of people can and have agreed on based on looking at my own comments section. Not everyone sees it that way, but a lot of people do. I really want to know how y'all feel about this, because to me, it just seems like it's not only disingenuous based off the fact that, okay, well, our quality time is going to be spent buying things that you need, but I'm buying extra because that's how I show affection to my kids. But on top of it, this whole idea of spending, quote, quality time but having to vlog it for social media, to me, it just comes off as really disingenuous. And some people might hate me for saying that, and I don't really care because it's my opinion. I just don't think that vlogging and spending true quality time with your kids or your partner or your whatever, I don't think that those two can really coexist. I talk a lot about device-free time, and in the age of family vloggers and people, showing all of this stuff about their lives and having to capture everything for TikTok or YouTube, I know that not every family vlogging channel does this, but a lot of them do, where it's just constantly having to film it to post it on social media. And based on all of the different families that I've seen, that goes from the Bellingers, the LeBrants, the Ace family, 8 Passengers, even smaller kind of mommy vlog channels like Love Meg that I've talked about, I just don't equate filming these moments as being fully present in the moment. And, y'all tell me how you feel about that. How do you feel about trying to buy a child's affection? And I think that buying kids' affection, it did work in Alicia's favor somewhat, because the two kids that were there through kinship, I do understand that they are both staying there. And I said in an older video, the only thing that I've ever agreed with Alicia buying for these kids is when she bought that kid his bicycle, and I agreed with that. I think it gives him an outlet to not have to spend time in a really hectic household. I think that it's exercise. I think that it's a good hobby to have. But aside from that, buying a child, a bunch of candy and 27 pairs of shorts when they have 28 at home, that's just not my idea of what being authentic is. And I don't think that it's advocating for people to adopt or foster kids, because it's not realistic. Most people that might be looking to foster or adopt kids are not making $300,000 a month because of social media. So if you want to be an advocate, you have to set an example. And Alicia's example is not realistic, it's not attainable, it's not desirable, and it's just not achievable, nor will it be achievable for 99% of people that are looking to foster or adopt children. And I don't think she's an advocate. I think that she is a false savior. I think that she is a major white savior complex. And I just find the entire presence of her blasting her kids all over the place dangerous and extremely scary. And I worry about the kids' mental health and the impact that it will have on them years from now. But secondly, I want to hit on the fact that some of her fans will say, oh, she doesn't really overshare medical info that often. And I beg to differ. I think that she will mention her child's health issues anytime it suits her prerogative, her video, her message, what she wants to convey to people. She's constantly talking about her kids that have autism. She's constantly talking about the fetal alcohol syndrome. She's constantly talking about other mental issues that they might be experiencing. And I find it to be pretty consistent. And that's just my perspective based off of the content that I watch of hers. I think that it's consistent enough to still be a problem. And I want to hit on this post that she shared the other day talking about one of her kids' sleep studies. And it says all about the follow-up appointment. She talks about sleep apnea, talks about anemia, talks about leg movement, talks about these different scores, talks about vitamin D levels, talks about supplements. And then she thanks everyone who reached out to ask about the sleep study. If you are an adult and you are so invested in a family that you are contacting the parents via comments or DM or emails asking about that child's medical visit, please stop watching family vloggers, because that is so weird. And I don't care what anyone says about it. If you are that invested, I think that you're a weirdo. Because it's not normal to be so intrigued and curious about a child's medical issues, medical condition, whatever you want to say, to the point where you're either leaving comments inquiring or contacting the parents through another avenue to see how this visit went. That's weirdo behavior, and that's my opinion, period. So to everyone that wants to say she doesn't do it that often, she, has gotten better about it, I disagree, and that's okay. We're allowed to disagree on my channel as often as, you disagree. I'm good with it. Even if she had slowed down, she should not be sharing medical info about her kids on social media. Their platforms are far too large at this point to be putting out this info about your children without their consent, without their informed consent. I've said before, I think that Alicia could change up some of her content and continue making videos, because I do think that people are interested in kind of how some things are managed in a house that has 12 kids. Like, people are just going to be interested in that. People are human. They're interested in different kind of situations. And a different situation is definitely having 12 kids under one roof. But there are also a lot of things that she does that many people disagree with. And I said in another video, just care more. I don't understand why that's an ask or a favor, but stop showing people the school bus pull up in front of your house. Stop sharing info about medical visits. Stop constantly telling people so-and-so with autism, oh, fetal alcohol syndrome and blah, 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 while you're drinking fucking White Claws every day. It confirms to me that she doesn't care, just strictly based off the fact that she has talked so often about this fetal alcohol syndrome, and yet she so heavily advertises and she almost brags about the amount of White Claw that she drinks. I find it reckless and disgusting, and I hope that none of what's happening on the internet affects any of these kids down the road. But, you know, unfortunately, she doesn't care. It's not going to change. So at this point, the internet at large is just kind of watching not only her, but also a lot of other family channels. And we're just going to have to see what happens. The parents don't care enough to protect their kids. And that is a massive, massive, massive issue. And I'm going to continue to talk about it. I'm not going to bully anyone. I'm not going to be rude, but I will continue to share my thoughts. So either way, that's going to be it for now. If you like the video, please leave a like and a comment. And if you'd like to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.